Happy Friday, welcome to the 3 Things I Learned in Saas Sports Tech and Live Events. This week we're going to talk about 3 little tricks that we've gotten in management from people who are a lot more successful than us along the way. Number 1, help me understand. I was a really terrible manager for a long time, still not sure I'm very good at it, but I've learned some things along the way. And one of the things that was given to us very early in the process was a lot of managers, when things happen, they sit down and say, why did you do X? Why did you do this? Why did you lie? Why did you cheat? Why did you steal? Why did you miss your deadline? Why did we miss a number? Why did you stand up the customer? Why didn't you answer the phone when you were supposed to? Things like that. And it really comes across as an offensive move. It almost makes us all harken back to the days of a really mean old coach yelling at a kid and shocking them into a defensive mode. What they taught me back then in 2011 was ask a very simple question: help me understand. Help me understand what happened here. And when we do that, we uncover intent, which is helpful. Most of the time, it's not as nefarious as we think it is. And number 2, we generally learn that a lot of our assumptions are wrong. Now, occasionally, what was done was nefarious. Somebody did steal, somebody did lie, somebody did cheat, somebody did abuse somebody else, all kinds of really terrible things. We can even learn from those as we take the necessary actions going forward, that it'll help us learn more about how to spot those things going forward. So trick number 1 is very simple. Help me understand, as opposed to why did you? That's number 1. Number 2, as opposed to what we were doing, is this better? Complaining is a part of life. Everybody has to complain. All of us do. Some of us have figured out where to and where not to. That's the past 3 things. How do we handle complaining when it happens? We need to make sure it's constructive, but how do we make it constructive without being offensive, without attacking, and without sitting down and making somebody feel uncomfortable? The first thing we can ask is, as opposed to. We've made some changes. People generally don't like changes. Who moved my cheese, right? That's what leadership is. Leadership is taking people somewhere else, and the vast majority of people don't like to go somewhere else. So can we sit down and have a conversation? Okay, here's what we're doing. As opposed to what we were doing, is this better or worse, and why? And then you get a better understanding with your teammates, with your vendors, and with your customers as to why we're all moving the way we're moving. It gives us intent, and it gives us a little more trust as we move forward. So just that little trick, that little hack of as opposed to, is this better or worse, and why? That'll help us with complaining, it'll help us get constructive feedback, and sometimes it'll even give us some better ideas. That's number 2. And number 3, I learned this one because it was done to me, it was done effectively to me, all the way back in 2012. Say okay and extend the play. More information is almost always better. When you find yourself in a contentious situation with customers, with partners, with teammates, or whoever else, we all want to answer. We want to be impulsive. We want to listen to react, not to respond. But sometimes the best thing you can do is just say okay. Let it sit and extend the play. I am shocked at how often this works and completely changes the conversation and how I'm seeing it. That's it for this week. Some soft tips. I really hope they work for you the way they've worked for us. We'll see everybody next week on The 3 Things.